Hey guys, HelpingHans here, bringing you a Company of Heroes 3 infantry and support weapon tier list here. We'll be making another one for vehicles and maybe emplacements and such in the future. And basically I'm just ranking each unit based on its merits and putting it in a tier list. Without further ado, here we go. First up, we have the 2-pounder. Where do I think the 2-pounder goes? So let's go check out the 2-pounder. Here we have it. So the 2-pounder. How much does the 2-pounder cost? Just the 2-pounder, yeah, 220 manpower. It does come out fairly early in the battle group tree as well. And it's a way for you to skip maybe going for your 6-pounder as well. And you kind of get it on fairly early. The best thing I think about the 2-pounder for me is that when it gets Veterancy 1 for 30 munitions, it gets a guaranteed pen. Always penetrates enemy armor. And the other awesome thing about this is it lowers the enemy speed and disables the enemy weapons when it hits. So I would say, out of all probably the anti-tank guns in the game, it's one of the best ones. Even though, like, generally its main gun with just firing automatically, it doesn't penetrate that a lot. But, you know, but if it's against DAK specifically, they're going to have a, even with the 2-pounder, you're going to be penetrating a lot of their vehicles because most of their vehicles in the early game are going to be, you know, to early mid-game and light. So I actually rate the 2-pounder pretty well. Its arc is pretty big as well. It can be towed. It's either going to be, I'm wondering, is it an S class or is it an A class? I think it's at least A for sure for me. I'm tempted to put it in S class because it can, if you use, like, get 2 of them, like I've had them like help kill Brumbars, kill Tigers and stuff, because it has that guaranteed pen, which is huge, and it's cheap as well. So actually, some people are saying, nah, it's not S. I really am tempted to put it in S tier. Right, as an anti-tank gun as one of the anti-tank guns go. So I think it's really good. Though it is, and however, you can only get it on a battle group. It's a specific battle group unit, so you don't get it non-doctrinally, which kind of brings it down a little bit because you kind of force yourself to go for a battle group to get it. But when was the last time I used it? Oh, well, I haven't played. I kind of like playing different battle groups just to spice things up. But I do like this unit a lot. So I think we're going to leave it in A tier at the moment, but I am tempted to put it into S tier. Right, next up we have the 4.2-inch mortar. So this is quite an expensive unit. So the tow mortar is over here. So yeah, 440 manpower and 20 fuel because of the tow truck. So actually, you know, with the tow truck, I think it's actually even better because what you do with the tow truck is you generally convert it to the medical truck, so you can get that on that field presence as well. So that's also, you know, a big benefit when you get the truck with it. And this mortar, without any veterancy, has an immediate flare. So I'll just drop a flare in the sky real quick here. But actually, also bear in mind that you can drop this flare incredibly deep as well, which is the other great thing about this mortar. It does have just over 2 minutes of a cooldown, so that is quite a long cooldown. This mortar hits incredibly hard as well, and later on when it does have the air burst. So this is probably one of the stronger mortars in the game, or is this probably the strongest mortar in the game actually? And though it can only be called in via a specific battle group, so that's probably going to drag it down a little bit on the rating. But I definitely feel like this is definitely A class for me. It's a 5-man crew. It is very good in the sense that it is, you know, it's got good survivability because of the extra man. But the other thing that brings it down is because it is a towed weapon, you can't retreat it like you can like a standard mortar like this. You can't run that, you know, so that kind of makes it slow. So if it gets caught out of position, it's kind of hard to get away quickly. So I would drag it down a little bit in rating because of that. But I would say, yeah, definitely A, maybe S tier for the mortar there. We'll see. So then now let's go on to the British 6-pounder. Here we have a 6-pounder. So I would say the 6-pounder, recently they got a new veterancy ability, which is the entrenchment ability. So we'll just give him vet 1, and when you place it like this, so there's a bit of a setup time, but when you do set it up, it does have some buffs here. So if we just hover over again, so it reduces incoming damage by 25% and increases rate of fire. However, when it is set up like this, you can't turn it. So if I issue a move command, it's kind of stuck. So that kind of makes that ability a bit worse, but overall it's not too bad. And I guess if you're getting pushed with a Brumbar from the front, if you can't, if you know you can't retreat in time, setting it up like that will reduce the amount of damage that Brumbar does to you. So yeah, I think, I mean, it does, and it will, reliably pen medium armor, somewhat the Tiger, but I would say it's definitely not S tier I would say it's something maybe like a B tier. I would say, as anti-tank guns go, I think it's going to be a B tier for the 6-pounder for me. It's not crazy good. Yeah, a pen more than the 2-pounder, but it costs more than the 2-pounder. So yeah, I'd probably put it as a B tier. Right, next up we have our standard commandos, our 5-man commando squad. So commandos, one of the elite infantry for the British. These guys can be power dropped in, so that's quite good. You can jump them behind enemy lines and stuff, which gives them that extra kind of like infiltration bonus, I would say. You know, it's quite good to get behind enemy lines and kind of thing. One thing they're good at is they're very good CQC unit. They're very good at killing infantry up close. They also have access to a demolition charge. They can lob a cooked meals bomb, and they have some AT capability as well. No upgrades required for this. They will also passively heal out of combat, which is sick, and they, I believe, can camouflage out of combat. And Veteran C1, they can drop smoke as well, which removes suppression. So they cost, though, 320. As elite squads go, it's not too expensive compared to something like the Rangers, which is like 400 manpower. I would say they're pretty, you know, they're pretty damn good. So yeah, I think commandos, yeah, pretty decent. But again, they have no, I mean, they have some light AT capability, but not a crazy amount. I mean, you know, so it's not like they got Zooks or anything like that, which gives them constant AT capability. So yeah, so with the standard commando squad, I think we're going to pop this guy probably A tier. Yeah, I'll probably pop that squad on A tier, and I'm not putting it to an S tier just because it hasn't got like that dedicated anti-tank capability. I would say I think it is a pretty decent unit. They are quite squishy. I think, you know, as Dragon said, someone in chat was saying they were a bit squishy, weren't they? I know Bits was saying it was quite squishy in chat. So yeah, not the best. They have 105 health. Aruba guys, it's 31 manpower to reinforce. Fairly expensive. But yeah, I would say yeah, probably A tier for them. It's not too bad. Right, then we're on to the LMG guys. So these guys are similar. Now, as they're a 4-man squad, that kind of brings them down in rating for me because they're much easier to pick off. Less survivability. Commanders with 6-man, so they've got great survivability. They do come automatically with this kind of like this Vickers gun, which is pretty good. Vickers K machine gun. They don't have any AT capability. They do have some suppressing fire, so just suppression damage, 90% accuracy though, but 50% rate of fire. And though generally, I find as this, you know, this Vickers gives them a bit of long range capability, and they have Lee infills as well, so that makes they're kind of a more of a longer range squad. For me, this is probably a B tier unit. I would say at the very least, I would probably put them as B tier. I mean, they haven't got any AT capability, so they get caught out by armor, they get in trouble, and also, you know, because they're 4-man squad, you know, that they're much more easy to get killed off. So yeah, B tier for them for me. Let's go on now to the 17-pounder. So 17-pounder. This, you know, it comes on towed like this. There's 100 manpower and 15 fuel, and then you have to buy it, which is 360 and 40. You know, actually, in terms of fuel cost overall, it's not too expensive. And then once you've teched it, it's only going to be 40 fuel from then onwards. It does come with this truck, which again you can then convert. So we could upgrade it, and so you can keep it as a medical variant, and it can still tow the vehicle, which is great. And that way, the CMP truck can reinforce this and heal the crew constantly throughout the rest of the match. Towing in Company Heroes at the moment is still kind of buggy. Sometimes it won't be 100%. It's the same thing with like kind of like the 88 as well. It's not super reliable all the time. Sometimes it'll be buggy or they won't do it. But if the towing mechanic works properly, then yes, these guns would be better. 70-pounder in general though is got a very short line of fire, but it has really good range. We'll need something to spot for it. And it has a 6-man crew, so it's got decent survivability. It does have entrenchment as well, so when they get fit one, so same thing as the 6-pounder. But yeah, I think 17-pounder doesn't come with any other extra abilities though, apart from that entrenchment. I definitely would still give it quite a high rating though. Bits is saying it's a D tier. I wouldn't agree with that. I think 17-pounder is a pretty damn good unit. I mean, it's like artillery, you know, any kind of support weapon in general gets hard countered by artillery. But you know, if you're quick to micro and you bring it out of combat and you move it around, you know, you can be really quick. You can tow it, you grab it with your thing, and you can reverse it into combat, and then untow real quick. Press V, dang, you're good. Sets up and you're good to go. So I would, for me, 17-pounder is at very least B or A tier. Yeah, I'm going to pop it as an A tier for me. I think, you know, for late game, if you want something to kill a tiger, £17 is one of your best bets. And, yeah, I'm going to definitely put it up as an A tier type unit, in my opinion here. Right, now let's go on to the sappers. So we got the core mainline repairing squad, engineer squad for the Brits. Now, these, I am going to put these immediately in S tier. Like, they are amazing. They are the best infantry unit at the start of the game. They murder pioneers, they murder panzer pioneers, they completely dominate them, and they are incredibly cheap as well. Yeah, 220 manpower. They can upgrade with the flamethrower for 50 munitions or the sweeper. You can lay mines, you can get tank traps, caches and stuff. I mean, and they're, you know, and they're decent combat units, so, you know, definitely S tier for me for sure. You know, just based on the fact that they're so good early game, even late game with the flamethrowers, and also when they get a grenade, when they get Veteran C1 as well, without having to require any tech is quite nice. So yeah, definitely for me, Sappers S tier. Now on to the Gurkhas. We've got the Gurkha squad. Now the Gurkhas, 6-man squad, good survivability, but they have no AT capability. They do have Thompson, so you can spec them to be really good at close quarters combat, or you can spec them to be good at long range with brain guns. They do have the grenade assault, kind of infiltration grenades. They can lob a lot of grenades at once, which is pretty good against big clump up a blob, or if you want to try and make sure you wipe a support weapon, that's pretty decent. They can lob a smoke grenade for free, which is quite nice. And when they get their one, they can activate an ability, increases squad's rate of fire and speed, weakens enemy infantry, 50% speed rate of fire, and then lowers the suppression as well, and enemy infantry get nerfed as well. I actually didn't realise it nerfed enemy infantry when you activate this ability. I hardly ever go for Gurkhas, and that the primary reason is because they have no AT capability. But if you're looking for just kind of like a unit, an infantry unit that's just purely fight infantry, Gurkhas are not a bad choice. Let me just remind myself how much Gurkhas cost. At 360, I'm going to put them B tier personally. They're a good anti-infantry unit, but no AT capability. I always want some, you know, when I'm playing with a unit, I really want them to have a bit more utility, and they're just purely anti-infantry, and they got, you know, nothing really else to offer. So I think they're B tier for me. Right, then we're up to the Aussies. Aussie infantry section. Now you get these guys straight away. That's another thing as well compared to the Gurkhas. The Gurkhas, you got to wait a couple of command points to get them, but the Aussie infantry you can select straight away with your battle group. They are 300 manpower, so a bit expensive, but they are, you know, pretty good infantry. And I would say as well they get the Scopely infills, which increase their accuracy, especially against units in cover. So they're a good unit to fight enemy units that are sitting in cover. And they also have this ability, which is the Sharpshooter as well, which allows it to help it to win engagements. And also maybe white units, you know, that single man on retreat or something like that, you know, get a better chance with that. Also, you got the sharpshooter training as well, so Veteran C1 slows the target as well. Always, Vet 2 will always kill an enemy soldier. And then weapons of the squad have a chance to insta-kill an enemy soldier at low health. So, yeah, pretty good kind of sniper-type infantry unit as well. And great utility in the fact that they can build sandbag, this sandbag wall, which is quite nice. They can build, you know, wire, tank traps, MG nests, and resource caches as well. Only thing they lack is AT capability, so that's going to bring them down. But I would definitely put them in at least A tier class. Probably better than the Gurkhas because of their extra utility. Definitely not S tier though, because they haven't got any AT capability. I mean, I did give Sappers, you know, S class, but they don't have any AT capability, but they're just such a good infantry unit at the start of the game, and cheap as well. Right, then we go on to the British Mortar. Now, the British Mortar, this is probably shit. I'd say the British Mortar is probably the worst, one of the worst mortars. They've just got entrenchment. Yeah, no great special ability here for this, so this is probably... Yeah, I'd probably rate this E or F tier for the British mortar or something like that. Yeah, I'm actually going to pop it F as mortars go. It's probably one of the worst mortars in the game. Just having the entrenchment, yeah, not great. Yeah, it is a terrible mortar. It doesn't offer anything special. It is, you know, it's a mortar, but it's not a special mortar. And the entrenchment isn't that, you know, I guess you get a little bit of a rate of fire, but really not that great. Right, then we're on to guards. Here's our guard squad. Guard squads are expensive. They cost 400 manpower, same as Rangers. They do come with 2 bazookas. They do also have a gammon bomb and stagger shot. They do get a stun. Slows the target vehicle before a second volley is fired that stuns the vehicle. But they are an expensive unit. They've got decent survivability because they're a 6-man squad. They do have a decent health pool at 115 per model. Though if we remove a guy, their reinforcement cost is 32. So more expensive than even the commandos by 1. So it's quite expensive reinforcement cost. They're definitely probably like, I would say B tier or A tier. I'm going to put them on B tier. They do have AT capability, but they're super expensive. They're not... I mean, yeah, I would say something like that. I'd probably put them B, maybe A tier, something like that for them. But because they're so expensive, they come out late in the game. You're not going to get them that earlier on. Yeah, I would say B tier for them personally. Right, then we've got the British machine gun team. Right, so this machine gun has access to focus gunnery. The last quick thing about the Gurkha, the guards is they do have these submachine guns, which means that they're only going to be good at close quarters combat against other infantry. Long range, they're going to really struggle against other infantry in a prolonged long range engagement. So onto the Vickers. So the Vickers, when it gets Vet 1, so it does get the 10 range plus 15 vision and reduces up by 50% when the unit is set up and removes area suppression, but that is not too bad. I've seen this ability help when like, in an MG versus MG fight in a building. Toggling this ability will allow this MG to win. It's got pretty decent firing up, but unlike the MG42, it doesn't suppress as quickly. So I'd probably put this at E tier as an MG goes. Not great, not terrible, but it's okay. Right, now, then we're on to the infantry section. So, now, the infantry section, I actually rate the infantry section incredibly highly because it is very versatile. You can spec it 3 ways. You get a recce package, which will give it the flare. Boys AT package, make it good against, medium light armor. And the Brenninger package, again, if you want to be better at longer ranges. So it's got good versatility there. Also, if you go for the recce package, you'll get access to the observer. You'll be able to drop the Observer Artillery package, and the Recon Flare is a free ability which you can keep popping throughout the game. Let's just do it real quickly and just see its cooldown. So there it goes. Again, just over a 2 minutes long flare ability, kind of the same amount of time it takes for the 4.2-inch mortar. But yeah, I would rate this very highly. 50% against units out of cover as well. So unlike the Aussie squad, they do better against units out of cover actually. So, pairing this up with an Aussie squad is actually pretty decent. But yeah, I would say, yeah, recce. And then they also, the section as well, when you upgrade the grenade packages, you get access to the AT grenade and you get access to the rifle grenade as well. And then also Veterancy 2 deals additional 40 damage as well, so that's also nice. So yeah, I would say, as like your core front, main, because these are like the mainline infantry that the British have, I rate them pretty highly. The bare minimum is A tier. Would I give them S tier? I don't know. What do we think? S tier, chat? Bit says S. I'm torn between A and S tier. Unlike other things, the best mainline infantry in the game. You can, and then you've got, remember when you're playing Brits, you can go for the upgrade for Brits to give them Vet 1, so they get access to their Vet 1 bonuses as well. So I would say, yeah, you know what? I'm going to put them S tier. I'm going to bump them up S tier. I think they're S tier because of their versatility, decent survivability, and you can buff them up with the British kind of armory upgrades and stuff as well. Right, then we go on to the DAK. Let's go look at the DAK army over here. Right, so what are we going to start with? Let's have a look with we've got the Toad 105 to start with. So this comes with its own Opel Blitz truck. Fairly expensive. It's 420 manpower, fairly expensive, and 40 munitions. But as it's just a call-in, you haven't got to spend time with your Panzer Pioneers to make it or anything like that, which is kind of handy. You can upgrade it to a medical thing and still tow the vehicle, like like we did with the CMP truck with the mortar. You can do the same thing here, which is quite nice. So you can have the forward reinforcement, so you can get yourself kind of like a medical truck onto the field if you're lacking one with this. The range of the 105 is pretty decent, and it does have a smoke barrage. I don't believe it has any veterancy abilities. Maybe Chuck can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it has any veterancy. But it's only a 4-man artillery gun, so that reduces its survivability. And apparently it has auto fire as well. There it is. So actually, not bad, because I thought I hardly ever used this unit, but this is automatically firing on this squad, and it's not actually utilizing its barrage. It's not wasting the barrage, so I can use a barrage as well, which is pretty good. So actually, that's not bad at all. A standard barrage. We stop it. It's a 45-second recharge time. Now let's vet it up. Fire again. So was it 45 seconds? It's 41 seconds. Fires again. Goes down from 41 to 35. So that's a really quick fire rate. And the third one is increased weapon range, accuracy, and reduces incoming damage as well. We'll just turn it to the right here. We can see that's... So it's basically, let's say it's up to the edge of the box here. This kind of grey, this kind of box, these cardboard boxes with this tarp on. So we give it one more veterancy. And there you go. Actually, its auto-fire radius has increased a bit. That one pretty much next door, so it can reach up to the edge of the base sector over here. Right. That's 2. Right, so 1 and 2. 1, the no vet one, and the second one. So the range doesn't increase that much. It really doesn't increase that much more, sadly. People are saying F tier. Okay, it doesn't have any special other abilities, but, you know, compared to other artillery pieces that are in place, like unlike the American placed one, you know, that one can't move. And the fact that this gun could constantly reposition. Okay, what you would want to do, like, so if you're a good player, is you'd fire a barrage and you'd grab your Opel Blitz truck and you would instantly, and then you could then reposition it. And the fact that you can do this constantly throughout the game is massive. So I'm seeing him in chat, you know, Bit says it's F, it says the worst artillery piece. I don't know, man. I feel like it's actually not the worst artillery piece. I actually don't think it's that bad. I would actually rate it, you know, I would say it's probably, I would say somewhere at the bare minimum it's B tier, but it is expensive. Let's remember how expensive it's 420. So, but it's, you don't have the tech for anything. You know, it's instant. Once you got the command points, you can instantly call it on. So that's, again, another great advantage. Unlike other artillery guns like the Bishop or whatever, you're going to have to tech towards that. Whereas this, you could just call it on. Make it C tier. You think it's C tier? I'm definitely, you know, for me, it's B at the bare minimum. It's not any worse than B tier. It's six command points. It does take a while. You're saying, yeah, it does take a bit of a while to get to. So I guess that kind of lowers it down. But yeah, I think it's B tier. I never use it because I never really picked that commander, to be honest. If I was to pick that commander, I'd probably use it more often. But I didn't realise. Now, the reason why I haven't used it is because I actually didn't realise it has auto fire, which is pretty damn nice. And you know, that mod might make me actually use it more often actually now in my future games. So I kind of like that. So yeah, I think that's pretty decent. It's a bare minimum B tier for me, maybe even A tier. But we'll leave it B tier at the moment, since chat's trying to convince me otherwise. But yeah, I think it's B tier. Right, then now we go on to the 88. Same thing here again. You got the Opel Blitz, you can tow it, you can set it up. I'll unpack it. 6-man crew, so decent survivability. You can have it attack ground, so it can be turning towards, you can set it up and turn it towards the position you want it. And then I press W on my keyboard, so I can already kind of get it automatically facing the kind of the way where the enemy may come from before, so I'm going to wait for it to automatically turn. I can already get it to turn to position angle with an attack ground command, which is pretty good. It also has the ability to shoot planes down, so it's anti-aircraft capability as well. It has got pretty decent range as well, so that's its attack ground range. It can shoot quite far. And Vet 1 fires a single round at the target that deals damage. It causes engine damage as well, so that can help you maybe get that important kind of like with the engine damage. It will slow that vehicle, so you can help finish it off maybe. Also, you haven't got to once you've got built your tier structure, you can instantly build it. I like the 17-pounder, where you need to spec for it. Over here, you've got to actually research it first, then buy it. You don't have to research it. So, and it is straight, you know, it's 40 fuel. Same cost, though it does cost 20 more manpower than the 17-pounder. But I would actually probably, because of its anti-aircraft capability, I would rate it higher than the 17-pounder. And it beats the 17-pounder as well, because it has that 360-degree arc of fire, right? It does take a while to turn around, but it does 360, whereas the 17-pounder has to, you know, where I moved it, it's over here. It has to, yeah, I have to turn it manually. So this requires some manual micro. It does turn and set up fairly quickly there, mind you. Whereas, but the 88, you could just plonk it down, even if you're a low-level player, and it'll just automatically shoot stuff. You haven't got to worry about it. And it'll automatically shoot down planes if it's got nothing else to shoot at, which is quite nice. So yeah, for me, yeah, I definitely will put the 88 in S tier for that. Let's also double check. It's veterancy as well. So Vet 1, you know, increases health. Again, Vet 2 increases health even more. Accuracy and speed and weapon traverse as well, so it'll be able to turn rate trade fast. And then veterancy 3, increased weapon penetration, rate of fire, and reduces incoming damage. So yeah, great, great up, veterancy abilities as well. So very nice there. All right, so next unit that we have on our list is Assault Grenadiers. Now, Assault Grenadiers had a change recently. I'm bringing out 250 here to showcase this ability, but Assault Grenadiers normally cost 35 munitions for their infiltration grenades, but if you put them in a 250 and then you jump them out, for a short amount of time, they get the ability to lob grenades for free, I'm pretty sure. It says here, Assault Grenadiers that disembark transports are in combat, also it has to be in combat, so that's why I didn't pop up then. But yeah, they will be able to lob grenades for free. 60-second recharge time effects after work, yeah. Unit moves 40% faster. Grenade and smoke grenades have their recharge reset and are free to use during the ability. Last 15 seconds. So that's a really good kind of like bonus for them. They are really good in close quarters combat with their MP40s. Veterancy unit is hard to hit. Rate of fire a bit too, and harder to hit again. Increased accuracy, rate of fire, and health. That's pretty good. With the grenades, they also we'll just lob them real quick just to showcase this. So every model lobs a grenade here. Good for, gets a clump up of units there, which is nice. Maybe a good chance to maybe lob a squad, kill a squad on retreat or wipe something in a building. They have the ability to breach. They also benefit from combined arms next to their vehicles. So 10 accuracy, 10% accuracy, vehicle speed, and squad is hard to hit. Especially with the motorcycles now have that. They provide combined arms as well, which is good. And they get a smoke grenade for free when they get veterancy 1 as well. So, though they don't have any AT capability, there are a 5-man squad which increases their survivability chance. And they also can be called in as well. You can call them in for 275, which is pretty nice. R2 says D tier. I don't know, man. Assault Grenadiers, waste of a call. I don't know, man. Assault Grenadiers are not too bad, but are they that great? I would say probably C tier, maybe. Yeah, that's a good point R2 makes. It's like, yeah, going for them when you could get yourself an LEIG, it's not really worth it. So, yeah, you also got to be considering. Let me just quickly make tier 1, tier 2 real quick. So, Assault Grenadiers normally cost 300 manpower, right? Which is quite expensive. Same as Panzer Grenadiers. You can get them on the field for a reduced cost and get a free 250 as well, which is quite nice. However, you've got to be looking at the cost of the LEIG as well. The LEIG is 320. So and they all cost 275, right? When you think about it. So you actually, to get the most out of your money, your manpower, actually getting the 250 LEIG coolant is probably the best, to be fair. So and the only other time you go for the Panzer, you get, I guess, go Panzer Jaegers, is if you need, because they also cost, they're 275, so same thing, but you get the 250 as well if you need to kind of chase down enemy vehicles. So yeah, I would say for me, even with the Assault Grenadiers, their new kind of like grenade ability, yeah, C tier. They're not elite close quarters combat. They're not too bad. Urban environment, not that great, but again, they've got no AT capability, so we'll put them at C tier. Right, now we have the MG34. Now the MG34, Vet 1 gets 20% accuracy, 20% damage, 50% rate of fire, and less suppression and burst length. So that'll help it kill stuff. But it does have a big line of fire. We still have the Vickers on the field. Yes, so I think compared to a Vickers, I think the MG's one is slightly... Is it slightly bigger? It's very similar. You can't really... There's not really much in it, to be fair. But yeah, I wouldn't rate this MG that great. I mean, as MGs go, it's okay, but it's nothing special. So I'd probably give it... Unlocks veteran's ability, increases health, weapon reload speed, suppression, increases accuracy, suppression.
Pack it up, lads. We've got orders.
Pretty much the same thing there as well. So yeah, I'd probably... It's probably on the same tier as maybe the British one, the Vickers. So I'd probably put it in the B tier as well, to be honest. What I'm thinking. About the same, really. Nothing, nothing much in it between those two machine guns.
Standing by.
apparently has worse suppression than the Vickers, but does get the increased accuracy and damage and rate of fire with Vet 1, which the Vickers doesn't get. So the ability, I think, is it free? Let me just give it Vet 1. Yeah, it is free as well. So yeah, I'm gonna put them in the same tier. I think both the machine guns are the same. Right, then we go on to the mainline infantry of, where are they gone? There they are. So Panzer Grenadiers. So Panzer Grenadiers, in the last, there was a little hotfix actually, if anybody was paying attention. It's a recent patch note where they had reduced build time. They reverted their build time and reverted some like accuracy things, so they should be better now. A 5-man squad, decent survivability, can get another extra man with veteran squad leaders, increases their gain rate, and these guys get the extra man, which is very nice. So again, further survivability, so and also better scaling into the late game. They also have the ability to upgrade an LMG, which again increases their firepower, which is great. Again, good at range. And they also have the ability to lob an AT grenade and a normal grenade and a stick grenade. And it will also deal that 40% extra damage as well when it gets Veterancy 2. Benefits from combined arms and focus fire when they get Veterancy 1, which they can activate that, and that is a free ability to keep toggling 10% accuracy, 10% damage, 10% accuracy for every 3 seconds while active. I would actually, so Panzer Grenadiers, I would say pretty goddamn good. I think they are very good as core frontline. They don't have as much because we just sort of look at the infantry section right over here. They can't spec specifically to be any AT, and they don't got anything like flares or anything like that. But they're pretty goddamn good as a mainline infantry go. So I'd probably the bare minimum they're A tier. Are they S tier? I'm gonna say no, because they haven't got the most HP for frontlines 100. Yeah, they're sections of 95, so a little bit more durable. Yeah, I'm gonna leave them on 80. I mean, they're pretty good. They are pretty damn good, but yeah, they scale better in the late game as well because they're extra man and stuff. But again, they don't have kind of too much utility like the infantry sections do, so we'll put them on A tier. Right, then we have Panzerjägers. So Panzerjägers, now these guys can camouflage while in cover, which is quite nice. They can get called in as well if you need to, and a 250, again, which increases their kind of utility. They can jump in the back of a 250 and shoot out the back of it, so they can help chase down someone, which is pretty decent. There are only a 4-man squad. There used to be a 5-man squad, if I remember right, but they got nerfed down to a 4-man squad. Unfortunately, the AT rifles don't really scale well into the late game, when they're fighting larger, more like medium tanks to heavy tanks. They're not going to do too well there. They do have access to the anti-tank gas round, which does slow down and disables the vision on enemy vehicle, which gives them a bit more utility, but they're not that great. 4-man squad, kind of nice to have it complement your build, so you have with a pack gun or a tank or something like that. So, put them in a building and they could be okay and be kind of pesky. But I would probably rate them a B best. They get the MG. They used to be able to get the machine gun. Yeah, and I remember they used to be able to take a machine gun to increase their utility as well, but though they lost them the ability to upgrade a machine gun. So yeah, the bare minimum B tier, maybe even C tier Panzerjägers. I'm actually going to demote them to C tier, I think, Panzerjägers. They're okay, but not great scalability. Good when they first come out if they're up against any light vehicles, but late game, not so much. So I'll put them in C tier, to be honest. Then we have the Pak 38. Now, the Pak 38, not too bad of an anti-tank gun. If you do go for a specific commander, the espionage, they could get incendiary ammunition, which is pretty decent, which buffs them up a bit. And they do have compromised armor, which is choose to target armor by 20% when they get Veterancy 1. But is it that great? It's kind of an pretty average anti-tank gun. I mean, it's probably down like the 6-pounder or something like that, to be honest. Yeah, I'd probably down, if I put the 6-pounder as a B tier, then so the pack gun should be about the same. I would say the Pak 38, maybe slightly better than the 6-pounder because of the it can get a bonus with the incendiary ammunition if you pick the espionage. But yeah, probably about the same, to be honest. Now on the LEIG, the Pak 38 is, but yeah, I would say the Pak 38 is better than the 6-pounder. So I might change my mind, actually demote the 6-pounder to C tier then. I do feel like the Pack 30 is better than the 6-pounder a bit, but do we demote the 6-pounder? If I think the Pack 30 is better, I don't feel like the Pack 38 is A tier. I might demote the 6-pounder to C tier. I don't know. I think they're still very similar. It's not too much in it. All right, we'll move on. I'm thinking about maybe lowering it. Okay, we'll go to the LEIG. Right, so now the LEIG, as we just mentioned, you know, you can get it on pretty goddamn cheap with your first when you get the first cooldown ability when you play DAK. So that really makes it, you know, a great indirect fire unit because it's that cheap. You know, considering like other mortars and stuff from other factions. So like a normal mortar's like 260. Like most mortars are around about like 260, and this comes out at 275. Yeah, definitely very good. It's got very good range as well, which is generally I think better than just standard mortars. So it's got that great range. Does have you know, its projectile does hit harder than a standard mortar round as well. It does have the hollow charge rounds, which actually make it okay at hitting vehicles as well. Lowers enemy speed and rotation rate. So I would rate the LEIG pretty goddamn good. I would say bare minimum, I would say it's A tier, I would think, for the LEIG. I think, you know, because it is such a cheap, you get that nice discount when you call it in. Yeah, and you obviously get the 250 with it as well, so I think it's pretty goddamn good. If you were to try and spec for it manually, though, it would cost you 40 fuel. I mean, you're going to have to go fast support elements anyway to be able to unlock it, so it is 40 fuel investment regardless of what you do. But most people go for this anyway because you're going for the flat verbeling and get access to the anti-tank gun, so yeah, I mean, it's 300, and also normally it's 320, so getting that is just such a nice discount. So yeah, I still think it's A tier at least. Right, Panzer Pioneers, Core Line Engineer Squad for the DAK. Now, the Panzer Pioneers, guys, okay, I mean, they're fairly cheap. 200 manpower, 20 cheaper than Sappers, but they will always lose against Sappers in the early game. I mean, you can kite with them against Sappers and win, you know, if you take a long-range engagement, so they can beat Sappers in certain circumstances. They can get a flamethrower and the sweeper. They also have to have a bit more utility. The fact they can get the grenade launcher as well, which is good against units in buildings and stuff, which is not too bad, and kind of units clumped up in cover. They can lay mines and do sandbags and wire and stuff as well. Can't lay tank traps. They can wire cut automatically. I think every unit can wire cut automatically, right? No, actually, that's something, yeah. So, Panzer Pioneers can automatically wire cut, whereas Sappers can't. They need their Hands on removal package. They do also benefit from combined arms. They also get, when they get the grenade launcher, they do get access to a free smoke grenade. That utility is kind of slept on, I think, because that is pretty good against, like, if you want to blind an enemy machine gun or Vickers or the M19s that the Americans have. That's pretty damn good. And also, when they get vet one, they get a 25 munition stun grenade, which is pretty decent. But, I don't know, Panzer Pioneers, I think they're pretty decent. Like, you can also, like, you can do, like, get a couple of them early game as well. And you can mix them in with some Panzer Grenadiers or something like some, because it used to be like a, you know, a couple of builds where you could get a couple of Panzer Pioneers, or people just go full Panzer Pioneers, and that was like a legit build that you could actually do. 4% full speed repair. So here it just says that the Sappers allows the squad to take mines, and increases health resources 2.5 per second repair speed, but their repair speed is 4.0. So that's actually quite a lot more when they get that repair package. Though this is cheaper by 30 munitions, and that's 45, so 50 munitions more. I would say that it's probably worth it to get the extra. For 50 munitions, an extra 1.5 repair speed compared to the other one. If compared to Sappers, is probably worth it. So, yeah, I would say, you know, Panzer Pioneers, I'd say A tier. I mean, they're not as good as Sappers in the sense that Sappers always, you know, in 1v1 fight, the Sappers always generally win. But they're pretty good as a repair unit goes and got some decent utility with extra grenade launcher and stuff. So I'd put them A tier at the bare minimum. They're not lower than that. Let's go on to the next one, which is Bursars. Now, Bursars, if you have these, if you pick Bursars, they do go up to 6 men when they get a veterancy. Bursars, right. So you get a bursary bolster. So they can go up, and then they also get the breaders. Now, they used to get 2 Brenners, but they only get the 1 now. 26 manpower to reinforce. It's not too bad. And they have the natural... one good thing is you get them straight away, and they have that quite nice 40% speed out of combat. So that allows them to get forward quickly, get some good map control early, because they can run to those points and cap them faster than your opponents. However, I mean, in terms of scaling, they're not amazing. I feel like Veteran C3 Bursars won't do as well against other elite infantry in the super late game. And they don't have any AT capability, which really kind of makes them not great, I would say. They also, I mean, they get Vet 1 and they get a sprint, which is kind of nice, so that's kind of good for flanking and stuff, but don't have any AT capability. 90 manpower as well, 90 health per model. Panzer Grenadiers 100, so a little bit more squishier. I'm probably going to put Bursars B tier. Only 260 manpower. Let's just double check that, yeah. Let's have a look again. Bursar squad, right? Yeah, Bursars, yeah, 260. Not too. I mean, Panzer Grenadiers are 40 manpower more, but with the Panzer Grenadiers, I think they definitely scale better than the Bursars. So I'm gonna stick with my guns here. I think they're B tier. They're, you know, again, no AT capability, which really hurts them. And then for the last DAK unit, we have Gustatory. Now, Gustatory, for 80 munitions, they get double flamethrowers, which is very nice. They're also one of the better units at repairing. They have very good repair speed. 12 health per second, probably one of the best units in the game for repairing. Incredibly good close quarters. They can lob a smoke grenade, and with the smoke, they get like a sprint bonus. When they get Veteran C1 though, so hang on. So that they need to be Vet 1, but they do get that kind of sprint, and you could. And it doesn't have to be their own smoke. It could be a smoke from an LEIG or a mortar or any kind of thing, and they can benefit from this, which is 30% incoming suppression plus 50% speed. Squad is 30% harder to hit for 10 seconds while active, so you can time it with other smoke abilities, which is pretty damn good. They can also lay shoe mines, and I believe with this, you know, when you do pick this commander, you can get defensive operations as well. Yeah, and then they get the ability to lay telemines when you go for those upgrades, and then you'll be able to get tank traps and machine gun bunkers, and they have demolition charges as well. So they could, you know, they're just all round. They're a really good. Again, though, no AT capability. I think they used to have like an anti-tank satchel charge or something, if I remember right, like when they first came out, but they got that removed. But yeah, I mean, with all the other things they get, though, I would say Gustatory S tier. I know I highly rate their you know, units is you know, AT capability, and this squad doesn't have any really, unless they get, you know, with the mines and stuff. But in a straight up fight they will lose against vehicles, but because they have that great repair, so good close quarters combat unit, and pretty tanky as well, 105 health, and they get, you know, harder to hit, increase, and then they also get repair speed as well when they get vet, and the unit no longer takes extra damage when repairing. So yeah, for me, S tier, Gustatory for sure. They are expensive though. I think if I remember right, they used to be 440. Are they still 440? No, they're 400 now. So they're 400. So the same cost as Rangers. But generally, like default, they take 25% less damage from all sources, like standard. And they, yeah, so which is great compared to any other units. That's a really good bonus that they've got there. So yeah, definitely Gustatory definitely would be S tier for me. Right, now we've done all of DAK. Let's go on to Wehrmacht. Right, so let's see what we got first for Wehrmacht. We've got Coastals. Now, Coastals, unfortunately, Coastals very squishy, 80 manpower per model. However, what they're great at is that when they build, you know, they build bunkers, you know, and build mines fairly quickly. I mean, I've got instant construction on at the moment, but they generally are pretty good at repair, you know, building mines and putting bunkers down, which is quite nice. And you know, with this commander, you know, they'll get a discount on mines later on, so you'll be able to apply it cheaper. And this squad specifically gets free reinforcement off bunkers, which is huge when you go for these guys. So that basically gives you, you know, free, you know, you haven't got to spend manpower reinforcing if you're getting that kind of natural free reinforcement that this squad benefits from. So reserve pool, yeah, grants a free reinforcement every 40 seconds when near bunkers, which is huge. They also, when they're in cover and near bunkers, near bunkers, they get extra 25% accuracy and rate of fire. So You know, they pair very well with defenses and stuff. So quite a defensive unit. They're not really one for assaulting. They they can pick up weapons if something drops on the ground, which will increase their firepower as well if you get lucky and get a drop. But as a general combat unit, they're not the best. But they had very good utility. Do they scale well? They also go up to 7 men as well, which is one of the only, I think is it the only squad in the game that goes up to 7 men? Pretty sure they are. I don't think any other squad goes up to 7 men, so very good survivability. Because they get the seventh man. So I don't know, gustatory, coastals, A tier minimum for me. Are they S tier? They're not a great combat unit. I mean, you can't really, you know, if you're fighting up against rifles and stuff, they will generally just lose, you know, and they don't scale. The thing is, they don't scale even with the 7th man, they don't scale very well. They really don't scale well. But they have good utility, and they also can repair structures. They can't repair vehicles, but their repairing structure rate is pretty decent. Possibly S tier. I mean, they're not too costly either. Let me just double check what they were. Coastals, because they're one of my favorite units, actually, coastals, even though they're not that great. Yeah, 240 as well. Actually, it's pretty cheap. I know, now, you know, 240. So they're only 40 more manpower than a Pioneer squad, and Pioneers, we'll get on to Pioneers in a minute, but I think it's actually not bad, you know? What do we think? Do I boost them up to S tier? Coastals, they do have, also, yeah, they have a bit of AT capability as well, which I've not talked about yet. Disables enemy vehicles and sights for 5 seconds, which is pretty damn good. You know what? I like coastals a lot. I'm going to bump them up to S tier. I think they're pretty good. Like, they're cheap. They also, yeah, and also they don't cost too much to reinforce. They're 20 manpower to reinforce as well. Fairly cheap, so it's not too bad. But there's a lot of things that I think will, you know, make them good. You know, if you play coasters, you can generally, they're good for just holding the line and trading effectively. You won't be bleeding as hard if you go coastals, maybe. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna go give coastals S tier. Right, then we're on to Fallschirmjäger Pioneers. Fallschirmjägers, rather. So these guys are pretty good because you can drop them in straight away at the start of a match. Let's go with... So yeah, they're 280, quite expensive, but they do immediately have the ability to drop a satchel charge, which is pretty nice. So you can wipe stuff. Does upgrade, can get the machine gun, but I think most people these days goes for the grenade launcher. Doesn't have smoke grenade like the Panzer Pioneers do if you're playing DAK, but the grenade launcher is pretty good. It's clumped up units in cover and buildings and things like that, which is quite nice. They've got some good utility. They have access to the Luftwaffe rally point. It's building it hardly ever really used, but does allow Fallschirm, so Fallschirmjägers, Fallschirm Pioneers to reinforce off it, which is handy. And they do get a sprint, which is passive as well. They get 25% catcher speed. I'm going to give it 1. And they also will heal out of combat, which is pretty good as well. So, and the fact that they can be dropped in straight away, so you can drop them straight in the middle of it, like on this map, for instance, you can drop them straight away on the middle of VPN and throw them into a house, and then gives you, you know, and they can hold there for a while, which is pretty damn good. So, yeah, I would rate Fallschirm Pioneers pretty highly. I'd say A tier. I wouldn't put them S tier because they haven't got any dedicated AT. They're a 4-man squad, so they haven't got great survivability. Yeah, I think that's probably why. 30 manpower to reinforce as well, which is fairly expensive. They do get free wire cutters, and they do get free sweepers as well, which is another good bonus about them. So yeah, it's one of the only squads that automatically get free minesweepers, but still, I wouldn't bump them up to S tier because of those extra things. I think they're pretty good, but I wouldn't say S tier still. Then we've got Fallschirmjägers. Right, Fallschirmjägers. Now, these guys have the ability to Panzerfaust. They have the ability to lob a grenade. They can cloak. They can sprint, and will have healing as well, like the the full Pios. But they are expensive. They're 380 as well. Now, right, so yeah, they also, I mean, apparently, well, they've got 150 manpower, but I wouldn't rate them that highly because they're so expensive. Like, I feel like they need a bundle grenade instead of a stick grenade to make them a bit more worthwhile going for. Yeah, I mean, they can drop behind enemy lines and stuff as well, but again, they're so squishy as they're a 4-man squad. And they can't repair anything like the Panzer Pioneers can. So I wouldn't rate Falls that great, to be honest. I would rate them maybe C tier, to be honest. I just don't feel like they don't really dish out too much DPS either, really, for their cost. I don't feel like they're that great, but they're not terrible. So I'd probably put them C tier. Black 30. Let's remind myself how much this costs. Oh no, it's 200. 280. So 280. Not too bad. Does have the ability to do suppression. Deals high suppression damage, 50% burst fire, and low accuracy though. Does have the ability to shoot down planes. Can be towed in and out, but as it is a you know, like kind of like a support weapon like this, it can't just automatically retreat, which is not great. Also does have the Vet 1 ability to button, which is quite nice. So it allows the vision, speed, rotation rate, and acceleration on the targets. That allows you to get maybe, you know, in good conjunction with a pack gun or something. And it has pretty decent range and coverage. I think the Flak 30 is pretty good. Fairly, you know, and the cost of it is not that bad for how, you know, because considering like the machine gun, it does the same thing like as a MG42 pretty much. And it costs only 40 manpower more, but you know it does good damage against vehicle, you know, light to medium vehicles as well. I mean, utility against medium vehicles with the button, which is probably not that bad. And the anti-air, I don't think it's that bad. I think it's actually pretty good. I'm probably going to put the Flak 30 as A tier at least. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Not S tier because, you know, it has got, you know, long setup time. It won't, you know, it has to turn and be looking at the plane, I believe. The direction the plane's coming from, so it's not the best anti-air. If the plane's flying behind it, it won't shoot the plane, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but I just talked about the Z ability, the suppressing fire and stuff. But that is, it does cost 25 munitions. But yeah, okay, we'll leave that at the A tier. Alright, then we go on to Grens. So Grenadiers. Now, Grenadiers, they are 260. 6 men. Good survivability. They have the stick grenade and the AT ability, so that's pretty good. They have Squad Merge, which is a really good ability. The only unit in the game, I believe, that has in Co 3. In Co 2, it was Conscripts that had Merge, but they have the Merge. Merge is so good because it allows you to keep other units in the fight. So, right at the start of the game, you can merge into the Pioneers to keep the Flamethrower Pioneers in the fight, or like into more expensive squads like Panzer Grenadiers or Jaegers, and that way, you know, you keep your more expensive squads in the field, and these guys still don't cost too much to reinforce. We just remove a model. They have 22 manpower to reinforce, so not too expensive. Also, they get Vet 1 gives them the ability to do a med kit, and this is a free ability that you can pop, and every unit nearby will benefit from this healing, which is huge. So, and they have some not bad utility because they can put sandbags and wire down as well. So, yeah, and they're a cheap unit, so it's not the end of the world if you lose them. You can rebuild them. Let's look at the veterancy as well. Increase, so they get their veteran ability, units are more accurate and hard to hit. Increase accuracy and fire at Vet 2. And also their units harder to hit. Vet 3 increases accuracy rate of fire, and the Panzerfaust's range is further increased, which is also nice as well. I actually would put Grens S tier because of all those things I've just mentioned. Yeah, I think they're great. You know, really good utility, really good unit, very good. I'm definitely feel like Grens S tier because of all those things I mentioned. Very good. Very good unit. Wehrmacht Sniper. Right, what do we think about the Wehrmacht Sniper? Wehrmacht Sniper, 340.
Ready to hunt.
Now, generally, Allied units are always kind of like, you know, a lot of them, just look at the Americans over here. They're generally like 6-man squads, a lot of them, unless you got Pathfinders and stuff, or if they go, or they go Engineers. But most of the time, maybe apart from the Captains in Bazooka time, you know, the mainline infantry you're fighting is at least 6-man squads and stuff. I mean, so it's not, the sniper's not going to be that great in that regard. Pinning shot fires a single shot at the target squad and it instantly pins the target. I don't actually know how long it pins for, but again, it's not, I mean, it allows it to maybe slow down a flank or something like that, which is okay. But sniper, this pins with an aura, so it pins multiple squads. Let's just quickly test this. Do 1, so Vet 1 gives it, so it's hard to hit, accuracy rate of fire, and high health, yeah. So,
I am a veteran.
And then
My
Gets an extra 10 health.
am occupied.
There you go, does that ability there. This just pins that one squad there. It does have a 2-minute cooldown, and the radius of it isn't that big. If I put more squads clumped up, it does actually last a fairly bit of time. But if you've got multiple squad, like if you're up against somebody that clumps big time, you should get all 3 this time. There you go. And it does pin them. So actually, in conjunction, I thought it just suppressed them, but as it pins them, and it pins them for a short amount of time, it could give you enough time to actually crush these units with a vehicle if you're fast and your opponent isn't paying attention. But against higher level players, this ability won't have as much of an impact because your opponent is going to be splitting their units more. Okay. So I don't know. It's the sniper. I'm just wondering what I don't know, man. The sniper is quite expensive. I think it's B tier. I think I'd probably give the sniper B tier. It has its place, but yeah, it's okay. Will bleed. I mean, against rangers might not be a bad idea because rangers are more costly to reinforce, but yeah, they haven't actually put anything in D or E tier yet. I don't know. Alright, what do we have next? We've got Jaegers. Jaeger boys. Jaegers. Now, Jaegers have got a bit more utility here. Jaegers, they can either go for the reconnaissance package, which gives them vision, capture speed, decapture speed, scope rifles, and accuracy when they recover. And when they get the scopes, they get access to... They automatically get a free flare regardless, I think. But yeah, sorry, they get the smoke. So if I go... Let's just make 2 of them real quick. Right, we'll make 1 Shrek and 1 G43. So you only get the single Shrek. It's very expensive. 90 munitions for a single Shrek. Fairly expensive. They are decent survivability. You know, 5-man squad, 110 health each model. And then you can spec them a different way. And they can cloak and cover, which is pretty decent. And they do have ambush attacks, 25% damage and 4% action when firing out a camouflage, which is pretty nice as well. But they do need Vet 1 for it. But they got no dedicated. I mean, like the Jaegers have got no kind of snare or no kind of rifle grenade either. I don't know, man. Jaegers. What are we thinking? 320, fairly expensive. 20-man, but cheaper than Panzer Grenadiers. Bits think C tier for Jaegers. I don't know, man. If we're giving Jaegers C tier, like, Jaegers are definitely better than Fools in my eyes. I feel like then if we're gonna do this, we need to bump these guys all the way down here. D tier, and then Jaegers. Hang on, I'm going to do a little bit of juggling in here, I think. So we'll put the sniper down. I don't know, Jaegers. The sniper would probably be C tier then as well, wouldn't it? These machine guns could go down to C tier. Do Jaegers deserve? Do you think the Vickers deserve to stay in B tier? Why? Better suppression. It's better than the MG34. Who else agrees with R2? LMG section should probably be in C tier then as well, I think. Alright, we'll put the Vickers up here. I think that's okay. I think I'm okay with that. Jaegers. Do Jaegers deserve to be in C tier? I think we'll leave it like this. I think Jaegers are I'm just trying to justify, you know, if Jaegers are here, Gurkhas. I mean, Gurkhas are better infantry. I don't know. I feel like Jaeger should be B tier, maybe. Because you can spec them the way you want to spec them. You can get a couple of them out. But I think it's the fact that when you think about going for Jaegers, you're locking yourself in to tier 2. And I feel like tier 3 is more appealing than going tier 2 for most games. Because you've got the pack gun, which you always kind of need. You've got the reinforcement half-trick, and the stun was very good as well. Nebel is amazing. Alright, we'll leave it as it is. We'll leave Jaegers in C, but we'll leave it like... Okay, then we have where you need the LG-40, right. It's 75 munitions. When you drop it, it comes uncrewed. So when you get it onto the field, it's uncrewed. So you've got to expend manpower to reinforce, to grab it. But as it, you know, is you could just drop it anywhere onto the battlefield. It's pretty good. Could merge onto it as well. So though it is only a 4-man unit, which means it's not got the great survivability. Its range is okay. Can do ambush camouflage, which is pretty decent. And when it gets Vet 1, you can toggle it over so it's decent, not too bad against infantry. Does full damage to units in garrison. Oh, and the other thing, unlike every other anti-tank gun in the game, it can retreat, which is pretty decent. So I actually think it's not too bad, actually, when you think about it, because you could, like, instead of this by going for this and going for Luftwaffe Commander, it allows you to maybe not go for tier 3 because you can get your dedicated anti-tank gun, could be the LG-40 instead. You can go tier 2 and power drop this in, so it allows for kind of different builds as well. Variety of builds. And yeah, you don't need to tech up as well. I think it's pretty decent, to be fair. Not the best. It holds off medium tanks. And for the most part, you're up against medium tanks. I mean, yeah, if your Black Prince comes over or Churchill, yeah, you might be in trouble. But that's late game. And by that time, you should be going for, you should be having better tanks of your own, or, investing into the Pat gun or something then, at least. Maybe, or even the Matilda. Maybe not great against the Matilda. I would probably give it B tier. If it came already crewed, I'd probably give it, yeah, that's the thing that's putting it down to B tier, I think. I think it's B tier. Moving on. Right, now we're on to the Wehrmacht mortar. Now this, I would say this is a decent mortar because it has a free flare at Vet 1, which is a much, and you can buy this straight away, like here. And then you can drop this fairly deep. Have I got... And the flare is... And then we stop that. Oh, yeah. Hang on. Turn off auto-ability recharge. Right. Locks the veteran, increases accuracy. Anything about reducing the cooldown on the... Yeah, so normally we lob the flare out. Stop it. Okay, it's 3 minutes. Cooldown, which is quite a considerable amount of time. Actually, longer than the British one. Actually, the 4.2 inch was like just over 2 minutes. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so it's just over 2 minutes. So this one's got a lot longer cooldown timer, but it is cheaper. 260. Yeah, the flare is good. I mean, you do need that, and it is a free thing that you could constantly keep using throughout the match. So I'd say, because of that, it's pretty good. Let me just double check some things. Let's give it some more veterancy. The veterancy 3. I just want to see if it reduces the cooldown on the flare. So it was just over, what, 3 minutes? Okay, it does. It went down to 140. So it was 3 minutes, went down to 140 at veterancy 3. So that's better. Okay, so I would say the Wehrmacht mortar, probably B tier. I would say with the flare, that flare utility is so much better than the British one. And that flare is nice. Again, it's free. You can get it, and if you've got Vet 1, I think it's better than the LG-40. Maybe A tier. It's at least B tier, maybe A tier. Okay, I'll pop it up to A tier, and the reason being is because as you get, once you've bought Vet 1 on the infantry quarters, every time if you lose a mortar and you buy it, or you instantly recruit it again, if it gets decrewed, you'll instantly be able to have that flare again straight away, right? You haven't got to wait for it to get Vet 1 because you have the Vet 1 bought already through the infantry quarters, which is nice. Range isn't that bad, but yeah, the flare is pretty decent. Yeah, we'll leave it at B tier. Right, MG42. Right, MG42 does have the white phosphorus rounds, weapon penetration, so this allows it to be better against light vehicles, so I definitely would make this, because of it, I would say, yeah, probably best MG in the game. 30 munition cost for that. Definitely, increases health, weapon reload speed, and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty good. So yeah, I definitely think it's better than the other MGs. I would say it's A tier. A tier min. Is it S tier? It's only a machine gun. It's not, I mean, it will be able to, it's not going to kill like medium armor and above with that, but it's pretty good. I wouldn't put it in S tier. So it's a machine gun, right? The artillery officer. Right, so yeah, with the Vet 1 bought, it also buffs up these guys, so he has access to his Inspired Combatant. This is a free ability, which increases every nearby infantry.
I shall take it from here.
For 20 seconds, or was it 20 seconds? Yeah, 20 seconds, 20% accuracy and rate of fire, which is very nice, and it's free, and you can constantly keep popping this, which is very good. It also could do supervised sector, so increase the base construction or ability recharge. This is like a passive, so any kind of unit is nearby. So Hang on, let's just double check. The officer provides bonus to infantry and placements in friendly or neutral territory. Bonuses increase with speed. So, let's just test something here with the Nebelwerfer. We'll fire the Nebelwerfer out real quick. 70%. I'll move the artillery officer nearby. Well, this... yeah, it's now benefiting from the recharge speed. So what was it? Yeah, so it will benefit. So if you're having an artillery officer nearby every kind of support weapon like this, it will help reduce its recharge. That allows the Nebels and all the things to fire faster, the barrages and stuff of any kind of thing that you've got nearby. That's very nice. And you know, with you know, if you go for the Obici as well, it will reduce the cooldown and be able to fire faster as well. For focus supervision, so speeds up the building production of and upgrade times by 50% and increase rate of fire by 40%. These, honestly, these abilities, the inspired combatants and the focus supervision, I always forget to use. They're free. I always forget to do this. How long does it normally take to build this? Doesn't actually tell you off the top. Oh no, 45 seconds it normally takes. Okay, but then if you do supervise that building, it goes down to 22 seconds, so it reduces the time. So if you like time your retreat with your officer back to base and you build a Panzer IV, you can get it out faster, which is quite nice. This is something I never do, but I should definitely do more of it. So it gives this officer a lot of utility. I'm pretty sure he goes up to 5. Does he go up to a 5-man squad? No, he doesn't. It says it's a 4-man squad. But yeah, squad is hard to hit and reduces the recharge time of the abilities as well. Squad is hard to hit and increases the range of barrages. So yeah, this ability, the artillery observer watch is huge as well. This, when it gets to like veterancy 2, I think that's when it really shines. So that's its standard one he gets. Right, we'll pop it onto the bunker. And then that's, you know, it's like almost double the radius, which is huge. So you could pop this and it can completely dominate like a victory point or something like that and like hard lock down a point, which is huge. Though they did nerf it, so it does take the artillery does drop slower now, but it's just a good area of denial, which is pretty good. Also, it does have the support veterancy, so it will be able to vet up faster from other people nearby when they're also gaining veterancy as well. So for me, artillery officer S tier, I would say. You know, it doesn't have any AT capabilities, but it's just got such good utility. The only thing, you can only make one of them. But, you know, it's such a good unit. Yeah, I think it's definitely S tier as units go. And it's not even that expensive as well. It's not... I'm pretty sure... I think it's 280, if my memory serves me correctly. Let's go to battle groups. 280, right? Yeah, 280. So, pretty, you know, pretty okay. And, you know... I mean, I guess if you lose him, it's kind of, you know, he's veteran. It does take a while for him to get the veterancy ability back. But like, let's say if you're fighting, like you're playing against advanced infantry from Americans, and they're using that free infantry cooling kind of thing, where they get, you know, for missions they get like that huge group of infantry. Like this ability is one of the best hard counters to that. If you can just get, you know, because you can't micro that, and that will give this guy a quick way to vet them up very quickly. So yeah. Really good unit, definitely S tier. Right, Nebelwerfer, easy S tier. Nebelwerfer, best artillery unit in the game, hands down. Amazing. Really short cooldown. Murders infantry. I don't know how it's not been nerfed still, like properly, but it just kills every infantry. It's, you know, easy. Don't even have to talk about it any more than that. It is an S tier, period. Like, one of the best artillery games in the game. Like, you know, it does a big, you know, it drops a lot of, you know, the further, you know, closer you are, shorter the reticle, further out, it'll be more dispersed. But because it fires a lot of rockets in a very short amount of time, you're very likely to hit something, unlike with a bishop or any other kind of artillery piece. Yeah, easy S tier. And you get white phosphorus as well, which is pretty cool when it gets Vet 1. To blind stuff as well if you wanted to do that. But yeah, very good, Nebelwerfer. Easy S tier. Then we're on to the Pack Gun. Now the Pack Gun, one of the better anti-tank guns in the game, does have the ability to cloak camouflage when it gets Vet 1. And again, if you buy Vet 1 from a specific building, so every time you build a Pack Gun, even if you lose them, they'll always have Vet 1 straight away, and Vet 1 will give them their health increase up to 110. Yeah, Pack Gun, pretty goddamn good, I would say. Yeah, I'm probably going to give the Pack Gun A tier. Is it S tier? Best AT gun? I would agree with you, actually. Best standard AT gun? Yeah, I would say, yeah, actually, best standard AT gun, S tier. I mean, is it better than the 2-pounder? I don't know. 2-pounder's cheaper. Is it S? Is the pack gun S? I mean, you will always have Vet 1 when you buy it. Pretty good. Matt Z says it's not. You don't think it's S tier, Maolin? 2-pounder relies on the stun, but it's cheap, and it's like that is such a good ability though for the 2-pounder. I love the 2-pounder is like 100% guaranteed pen, right? You 100% pen with that ability, whereas a pack gun you still could bounce off enemy armor. I don't know. This is hard, man. This is hard to choose.
Pack here.
Is the pack gun S tier? Is it the best AT gun? Okay, compared to like the 6-pounder, the Pack 38, and the M1. It's the best one out of all 4, but does that make it S tier? I don't know. We'll come back to it. Maybe I'll at the end we'll demote it. All right, Stosstruppen. Right, Stosstruppen. Expensive is the word for Stosstruppen. They do take the 50% less damage for all sources, can throw infantry assault grenades, and lob a smoke bomb. But for me, they do kill. They got the 120 health per model, but again. Snipers will pop them down easy. They've got very small survivability because they're a 4-man squad. You can give them STGs if you pick a specific commander. But even then, I don't know. I don't rate Stosstruppen that well. No AT capability either. I would rather have Panzer Grenadiers than Stosstruppen personally. Because, you know, they're just better all the way around, I think. Cheaper to reinforce. Yeah. I'd put Stosstruppen C tier for me. Better than Fools. Yeah, definitely better than Fools. But yeah, C tier. Right, then we're on to Pios. Our little Pioneer boys. Right, unfortunately Pioneers are super squishy. They're probably one of the worst starter units in the game. They are very... how much are they? 125. 125. So they're fairly cheap. But the thing is, as they're cheap, they're very replaceable. They don't cost too much. Right? They're pretty easy to replace. They do get, you know, increased repairs like the sappers. And they can build a lot of stuff as well. I don't know. What do we think? I feel like if they gave Pioneers 4 men a Vet 1, I think they'd be viable. I think they'd be able to be a fairly decent unit, and maybe make them cost a little bit more. For me, I want them to be like make them 140, 145 manpower, and give them an extra man. I think that'd make them better. But up close. But we talked about the merge ability, right? You can merge, like, with the flamethrower. Let's say you lose a couple of guys, you got a grenadier, you can merge onto them. That keeps them in the fight, and that'll help you in that maybe early engagement. It's very nice. So you want to kind of pair them with... Always keep them close with a grenadier squad if you're using them as a combat unit, so that you can keep them on the fight. But because they're so goddamn squishy... Yeah, I don't know, like, Pios, man. I think they're B or C. Yeah, I'm going to put that... They're one of the... D, maybe even D tier. I don't know. Yeah. Or are they going to be our first E tier? I don't know. E. We haven't put anything in E yet. I think E might be E might be the right place for Pioneers to go, to be honest. Okay, we'll put them in E tier. I think they're not the greatest. Right, then last unit is the Panzergren. So Panzergren is what, 28 man pods to reinforce, 5-man squad, no AT capability, but this bundle grenade, you know, I thought it was 45, but it's actually 35. This bundle grenade is freaking massive. It really hurts. Really good for wiping squads and retreat. They're generally super good. They scale well. Our Panzer Grenadiers, I mean, bare minimum A tier Panzer Grenadiers, but are they S tier?
for us.
Automatic fire increases rate of fire and bursts every 3 seconds to a maximum of 100%. Reduces speed by 10% to a maximum of 50% last 20 seconds. So this is like a good, definitely. I don't know. They are. I would say S, man. I feel like Panzer Grenadiers are S tier, man. Like they're just such a good core line unit, core infantry unit. I think they murder everything. They can beat Rangers if they're Vet 3 as well, and have a little bit of support. They don't do bad against Rangers, and they're more cheaper to reinforce than Rangers as well. So Panzer Grenadiers, I think they're pretty good. I think I kind of want to put them S tier personally. Rank the Panzer Grenadiers. I think I'm gonna leave them. Yeah, I'm gonna put them S tier. For me, I think they're S. Let's go on to Americans. Right, look at all our American boys over here. Let me just delete all these guys real quick. Right, so what do we have first for the US? We have the Assault Engineers. Right, now Assault Engineers will turn Standard Engineers straight away into... Oh, let's automatically turn them over. So this will increase their DPS, because the extra man. They do increase their repair speed is an extra 25%, and it slightly increases their short range effectiveness. Okay, so with Assault Engineers, I mean, they'll have the ability to lob a satchel charge. I mean, okay, they're better than normal engineers for sure, because they're the extra man, a bit more, you know, a bit more survivability. But are they that much better? Okay, I mean, if you go in armor, you know, you kind of need them so you can help repair your vehicles faster as well. So I feel like Assault Engineers, they are 200 compared to normal engineers to 180. So I still rate them higher than normal engineers. So we'll probably put them B tier, and then we'll put normal engineers C tier. Yeah, we happy with that? They are exclusive, you get the Vet 1. Thing is though, I would rather, yeah, you do, if you choose this, you do lose the ability to get Vet 1 on all your vehicles, but I would probably always pick this over the Vet 1 on vehicles most of the time, because your vehicles will vet up anyway, whereas you'll always want Assault Engineers to get the extra repair speed in. So I would say, I would do it that, personally. Okay, right, so that's the Engineers sorted. Right, now let's look at, right, we've got Pathfinders. Okay, well let's start with Scout Squad. Where's my Scout Squad at? Oh no, is it converted them all over again? If I make a Scout Squad, it's probably gonna... Oh no, there we go. Right, cool. Okay, we start with the Scout Squad. So here we have the 3 variants of the Scout kind of thing. So we'll have the Scout to start with. So the Scout, you get straight away your starting unit. You can instantly buy the utility package, which is very nice, for 25 munitions. And then you can drop a free flare and a free smoke. So in conjunction with this, when you get your first rifleman out, this could be a great way to help flank that first machine gun or blind it and stuff. So that's pretty goddamn good. But in terms of a combat unit, they're not very good at all, sadly. Do they get anything? Hang on, this is actually a Pathfinder squad. I'm not sure. 30 manpower to reinforce. Right, for some reason, the rifle grenade is not showing up on Pathfinders in this mod. But I'm pretty sure Pathfinders get rifle grenade. And that's huge. Or has that been a new change? Has rifle grenade been removed? They've lost it now, have they? Is it gone completely? So that's the new thing that was in the recent patch notes. It's gone. So that was the thing that I thought would make them pretty goddamn good, because that rifle grenade was pretty good. So yeah, here's the Scout. So the Scout Squad, when they get Veteran C1, right, so we'll start again with the Americans. So we haven't done any American units right yet. We've done Assault Engineers, that's fine, but we'll get. So yeah, so we've got. If I just make an Engineer Squad, there's no difference here, is there? Light it up in Superior Craft. That's the exact same abilities, isn't it, on the Assault Engineers as well?
Engineers here.
Yeah, same thing. Okay. So Vet 1 Scouts, they get passive healing. That's right, Stealth Reconnaissance. Or they get passive healing. Now the Stealth Reconnaissance I think is probably the better one to pick in my eyes, because you can act this, then press V, and then they go around and they can move. While camouflage will be very slowly, this is a great way to spot your enemy's front line and provide targets for your artillery or anything like that, or your friendly's artillery or whatever. So that's pretty goddamn good. And then again, we've got the utility package, which gives them that flare and that smoke grenade for free permanently throughout the rest of the game, which is pretty goddamn nice. Now, if we are going to pick, just select that real quick, we go to, right, so we've got Pathfinders, the Interior Observer. The Pathfinders, Looks like they have the exact same thing, but let's just double check that is the case. I have to select the battle group. So Pathfinder selected. So exactly the same. So basically Pathfinders are just a better version of the Scout. Well, they have the extra man. And I think they've got better weaponry, right? Yeah, they've got the better weapons, so that makes them, a bit more effective in combat. And then the Artillery Observer, they get the utility package again as well, which they could get. But these guys can drop down the Artillery Radar Beacon, which is pretty, decent. It does cost 50 manpower, but it will periodically drop artillery on top of enemies. So I would say what I would do here is I'd probably put, let's look at the Pathfinders, where's Scouts at? So this is that's the artillery squad, and that's the Scouts. So Scouts, probably B tier, Pathfinders A tier, and Artillery Observer B tier. Pathfinder's a bit better combat. Do better in combat as well, I think, than the others. But yeah, I think Pathfinder's A. Though R2 is saying Pathfinders cost too much to reinforce. 30 manpower to reinforce, that is considerable. When you compare it to like a standard rifleman squad, that does cost, they're 26, so it's 4 more manpower to reinforce. So it is quite expensive if you could go for Pathfinders, but you could go for Infantry Support Center and then get yourself cheaper squads by 25, and then it's only 22 to reinforce and 19 for riflemen. So you could go for that, which would reduce their reinforcement cost if you decided to go for that as well. So yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I think leave them at A tier and the others at B tier. Right, then we've got the 2 machine guns. There is pretty much no difference in these machine guns. They're the exact same machine gun. But I'm pretty sure the exact same abilities.
Where'd you need a 30 cal?
The only difference is one can be power dropped in. Yeah. So
Heavy machine gun has been requisitioned.
heavy machine gun's 220. So is this one. Okay, so easy thing here is that right, we'll definitely rate the power drop one's going to be slightly better than this one because you can put it down straight away at the center of the map. And get some early dominance on the map control, so that makes it better than this machine gun. Also, you don't have to build weapon support center to call this in, so that's better as well. So let's say we'll put you maybe C tier and this one B tier. Right, I still think you think it's an F tier machine gun? Is it the worst machine gun in the game? The button vehicle is quite nice. It's handy. It gives it something to be able to counter vehicles, unlike the other machine guns. You think D and C? DAK MG is worse. It's very cheap as well. Like, yeah, it's 220. That is very cheap for a machine gun. Most machine guns are like, what, 260 or something like that, right? Because it's 240. That's 240. 240. Okay, so the other every other machine gun's 240. So this is 20 manpower cheaper. So it's not a huge difference. I've got to be thinking, yeah, I think I might do this. Yeah. I don't know, do I really want to drop it down to D tier? The power dropped utility is it's right at the start of the game. That definitely makes it better. I can't put it down that far. It has to be at least C because of that. Yeah. I think that's better. The fact that you can drop it in, don't need the WSC for it. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right, next unit's okay, the anti-tank gun. Right, the M1, probably one of the worst anti-tank guns, I would say. Is it better than the 6-pounder? I mean, you can pop this on anything, more likely increase your penetration chance. AP rounds is pretty decent. Focus sight as well. Let's just put Fog of War on real quick. So focus sight, you activate it, boom. You get a little bit of extra vision, but it still can shoot a lot further than it can see, so you want something giving vision for it. Though I know it is kind of like permanently toggled as well. Okay, and the other variant of it was
We have anti-tank crews reporting in. We just got ourselves
unlock brace. So brace is just a passive. Oh wait, no, it's not. Or the crew to disable movement weapons, and the unit takes less damage while active, reduced when attacked.
Braced. They're coming in hot.
Then I can't do anything.
Orders just came in.
Yeah, I actually never picked this option. But actually, this is not a bad... Let's say if you're going for double AT guns, you probably want one on brace and have this one forward to be the Brumbar bait one, and this one further back, maybe with the vision on it. Could be a better idea. And then actually, to be honest, if you all have them on brace, the thing is though, it's just going to be, you know, it can't move or anything like that, right? So it's still going to get murdered. You need to have it paired up with something else. It's actually not too bad though, I think. And how much is it? 250. I think it's pretty decent actually. I think it's A tier as well, I'd say. Yeah, I think it's better than the 6-pound because of armor piercing, and you know, it's because the 6-pound's only got the entrenched. But yeah, I think the focus sight, the armor piercing, yeah, I'd give it A tier for the AT gun. Right, now the bazooka squad recently got buffed. They're up there, 95 manpower per dude. They don't get a 5th man. I thought they did at some point, but maybe not. Right, they now get this ability where it's steady fire. When the unit is stationary, 3.5 seconds again, 7.5 range. Bonuses take effect when the unit is in garrisoned as well. So this is kind of nice, but I still feel like they're very squishy. Anti-tank satchel charge and the white phosphorus rocket actually is pretty good. Let's just... So the anti-tank satchel charge is pretty good against enemy vehicles, obviously. So if anything tries to rush and dive an anti-tank, and they can lob that on to help get the white. The white phosphorus rocket is pretty goddamn good as well against anyone in cover. You pop this down, white phosphorus rocket goes in for 35 munitions. That's a machine gun sitting there. They will burn, they will get blinded. That's pretty good. Only 35 munitions, but they do need veteran C1 for that. Now, bazooka teams, like, again, you have to go WSC for them. They are 250, so they're almost the cost of a rifleman squad, actually. And if you can go the improved bazooka rockets as well, so that they increase the damage to them as well, so make them even stronger. I don't know, bazooka team, man. I feel like in the past they were definitely one of the worst units for me, but actually now they're not so bad. Do I put them B tier or A tier? They're definitely not S tier, because they're still quite squishy. I think they're B tier. For me, I think B tier. They're still okay, but they can't fight against any infantry. They engage them, they're dead. They still get completely killed.
Bazooka team.
So yeah, they're definitely, I think, something like B tier, I would say. Right, American sniper. Right, it gets the stealth reconnaissance. Doesn't require camouflage to cover, which is pretty good. So there's an open field like this. Hang on, we'll just make 2 of them real quick. Right, so this guy now gets passive healing. I was just got to heal themselves when out of combat. I think I've got to pop that. Slow his health down. Yeah, I have to manually pop this. So it's not an automatic passive heal, which is kind of requires a bit more micro, so it kind of makes that ability a little bit worse. But it pretty much feels like it's almost a full heal. Stealth reconnaissance, on the other hand, does reduce your speed massively, but this could be a way to get a, you know, be able to sneak up and maybe get that cheeky counter snipe or something like that, or give you that important vision you need for killing enemy, you know, for artillery and stuff as well. 340. I would say the sniper for the Americans is probably better than the Wehrmacht one because of maybe that stealth reconnaissance. Veterancy. Does he get? Okay, he does get up to the same amount of health as like the Wehrmacht sniper. Am I going to play more Mechabellum? Yeah, but I will do eventually, yeah. Okay, so the American sniper, we'll probably put it B tier, I would say. I think the American sniper will have more effect than the German one because the American sniper is probably fighting a lot more 4-man squads, so it'll have more of an impact. And that, I'm happy with that choice, I think. We're on to airborne. What do we think of airborne? Right. Well, actually, one more thing. Before we go to airborne, I've just thought, let's talk about anti-tank guns again. We do have the power-dropped anti-tank gun for 250. Exact same cost. And I think it's exactly the same type of anti-tank gun. Does come crewed as well. Yeah, exactly the same kind of abilities are still 4-man.
Anti-tank team on the field.
I mean, again, is it going to make that S? Is it S tier because it can power drop in and be anywhere? Does that bump it up to S tier, you think, guys? It does allow you to skip tier 3. which is definitely a big, yeah, I think that's pretty good. So it allows you to maybe skip motor ball. So yeah, actually, because of that and exactly the same cost, and it just you can drop it anywhere on the map, we'll make that S tier, I think. Give that the Americans their first S tier. All right, then we go to, so we got airborne. Airborne are 320. Once again, they can be power dropped anywhere behind enemy lines or to support something on the field. Right, paratroopers can spend 75 munitions to get 2 bazookas, or 90 munitions for 2 M19 19A6s. So a bit of utility there, so you can spec them any way you want. Let's just lower their manpower. So this, remember, this is 22 manpower, but this is with the fact that we've got the reduction here. So it's going to cost a bit more than that. They can lob a normal grenade, they can lob a satchel charge straight away, and let's see what they've got for veterancy. So quick capture, pretty damn good. They can run around and capture territory very quickly. And it is capture and decapture rate. They can also go for concealment. Probably better using the concealment on the bazooka ones, because then they can get a better ambush chance. I mean, I guess you could do the same with the other guys, because they both would get the 20% damage and increase accuracy when firing from camouflage for 5 seconds. So, not a bad unit. Again, you could. This allows you to skip WSC, so you haven't got to rely on the bazooka squad there, so you can paratrop these guys in. So, paratroopers are pretty decent. I would say at least A tier for paratroopers. Are they S tier? Pretty decent health. But yeah, I think they're good, but not S tier. I agree. Yeah, we'll leave them at that. Right, the American mortar. I think this for me, the fact that you get it from your barracks, where you normally would get your rifles as well. Like normally, if you play Code 2, you'd have to get it. Or Code 1, you'd have to get the WSC for your mortar. But for the American mortar, it's S tier, purely based on its airburst. Like the airburst is still broken. Like it is overpowered. It messes up infantry. It's so good when it does that. It completely, like, you drop it here and it pretty much hits everything in much bigger radius than it actually hits, and it will damage a lot of infantry. So, I mean, I'll just quickly demonstrate this. This is 20 munitions, very cheap as well. And look, it just hits that whole group. So good. Great against blobs. Great against anyone in behind cover as well. Just, you know, crazy damage. It does take a while to get veterancy one. That's the only drawback. But for me, it's definitely S tier, this mortar, because of the airburst. If it didn't have the airburst, probably not. I mean, what's the other ability it gets? It is the delayed fuse barge, but not as good. But yeah, okay, yeah. Just the airburst is just amazing. Right, what else we got? We've got, okay, the Pack Howie. Now, the Pack Howie, for the Americans, gets towed on with the Weasel. Don't get it straight away. Right, now the Pack Howitzer is like kind of the equivalent of an ISG. Very decent range. Is locked to only one battle group. It's pretty damn good. Let me just remind myself how much does it cost with the Weasel, because it is with the Weasel, isn't it? So it's 400. They're quite expensive. 400 manpower for this. But you do get it towed on with the Weasel. And the Weasel, you know, has pretty decent utility as well, because it can drop down a machine gun and a mortar, which allows you to skip WSC. If you do, and also you can get signal layer or a medical station with it, depending if you want either one of those as well. So I don't know. I think it's quite expensive. But it's like, once you've got it out, it's a 5-man team as well, decent survivability, not that bad. I think it's pretty good. I think it's A tier. I think it's I think it's the equivalent of an ISG. To be fair though, the ISG is much cheaper. You can get it for 275. This is 400, and they're pretty much very equivalent. So actually, I'm going to drop it down to B tier. Right, we're almost there. Oh, we've got left. We've got the Captain. Right, Mr. Captain. Now, Captain, you can only get him if you go for the Infantry Support Center. Does have the ability to give sprint to any infantry squad, which is very nice. So like you pop this on a ranger squad, like any kind of CQC squad, or maybe a bazooka squad to maybe get forward quickly to get the last volley off to finish off a vehicle. That could be pretty damn good. Also, the unit's harder to hit. It takes 50% less suppression when moving as well. Very good. Let's give him vet 1. You can only have one of captain as well. You can't have multiple ones, so that kind of means you have to be very smart on what you want to choose. You go for either the off-map mortar barrage, which is kind of lackluster, but it is a free off-map. We'll just drop it here. It does take a while to land. I mean, for me, this is just an area of denial. Or if against a noob and they're just not paying attention, you might be able to get a wipe if you're lucky, but it's not that great. So I always go for the mortar ability, but I'm not even, I've never really used it for its marked vehicle. But marked enemies take 25% additional damage, 50% easy to hit, 25% incoming weapon penetration. Unit is revealed while active. It's pretty decent as well. So yeah, I mean, he's got a little bit of utility. He's quite squishy. He's only 95 health. Could buff him up with that.
Captain here. What have you got?
Gives him a bit more health with that. But yeah, I mean, he does have a Thompson. Well, actually, he's got one guy with a sniper rifle by the looks of it, and he does have the other guy with that machine gun. But he is fairly squishy because he's a 3-man unit. Does gain a veterancy from other units. Then when he gets more veterancy, they can drop it for about there. Let's.
Captain at the spearhead.
Up to about the edge of that.
Hold it up.
Right, so about to the edge of there.
What doesn't
A little bit more.
Stronger, boys.
Okay, he's vet 3. Significantly harder to hit. Super squishy. Free mortar ability. Is it? Probably B tier for the captain, maybe. Dude, it is a free unit as well. You are getting a free unit. You lose him, it does cost.
Eager to lead the men to battle.
You can buy him again for 150, which is pretty cheap. Probably always worth to rebuy him because he's got, he's got some decent utility. So he's kind of a bonus. Well, yeah, actually, because he's free, I'd probably bump him up to A. And then we've got Rangers. Now, Rangers are an easy S tier. You don't really need to go into Rangers, but hey, Rangers, yeah, best infantry in the game. They can specialize anyway. You can paradrop these things down. This thing can be benefiting your teammates as well. They have 6 weapon slots, which is insane. So if you want to make them even, you can give them flamethrowers if you want. You can give them Zooks. You can give, everything. They are very durable, 125 when you get the full upgrades. A reinforcement when they get, if we kill one guy off the model. 33 manpower, even with all the upgrades, I think it's 40 manpower normally to reinforce. But something like that. So it's still quite expensive to reinforce, but 33 for such an elite squad is not too bad. And you're making maybe 2 to 3 of them.
Let's go. Keep an eye out for crowds.
And they also gobble up, it's 45 at base, is it? So that's quite expensive to reinforce. But they do get heavy weapon experts, so they're 20% more accurate with their bazookas and stuff. If you go for the WSC upgrade, it's increasing the damage of their Zooks even further, which I sometimes forget to do when I play these. But you can see you drop these down, and then you can get double Zooks. There you go, brilliant. And also Rangers can fire their bazookas on the move. I think they're the only unit that can do that, right? So they can push and chase, and keep firing. They don't have to stop to get the shot off. They can keep going and keep firing, which is one of the best things about them. And then they get the upgrades here, which is accuracy when moving, so even better with their Zooks if you want to, or cover to cover. Unit takes 50% less damage when in cover. Leaving cover, unit gains 50% speed, 33% suppression for 4 seconds, and sprint recharges every 7 seconds as well, which is pretty damn good. So that's nice. And then even on top of that, if you go with a specific battle group upgrade, you can buff them up even further with range or weapon training, which gives them reduce the movement speed of vehicles infantry hit by 25%. Bazookas reduce the rate of fire of vehicles as well. M19 reduce the accuracy of infantry. So basically, if you manage to get a ranger with one of every weapon, then that's kind of like the ideal scenario. If you go for that, that does lock out the infantry assault. You won't be able to have the infantry assault if you go for this. Thing is, though, once you've got all you know, dropped your ranges, all these weapons, you kind of want an outlet for your munitions. So I normally probably always go for the infantry assault because this is actually pretty goddamn nice ability if you use it with smoke and stuff, things like that. But yeah, I think yeah, Rangers, ECS tier. They're one of the best infantry. They literally murder every other. The only other infantry that can maybe challenge them in a 1v1 is maybe Gustatory or maybe vetted up Panzer Grenadiers. Every other infantry unit will just crumble against them. So, for me, S tier. Rangers S tier. No, easy. Gustas beat the shit out of Rangers. No, they don't. I think it's fair. I think it's a fairly even fight, actually. I've actually had I had a recent match where I fought Rangers against Gustatory, and it was fairly even, to be fair. Well, then you weren't playing Rangers well. So if you're playing against Gustatory, you don't really want to engage them in close quarters combat because they're going to utilize their flamethrowers. With Rangers, then if you're up against Gustatory, you want to spec your Rangers with M19s and bars and keep them at distance and kill them that way. So yeah, Rangers will beat Gustatory if you spec them the right way. Right. Oh, yeah, the mainline infantry for Americans is Riflemen. Yeah, I think they're pretty good. Good survivability, frag grenades, sticky bombs. You know, they got the pour it on them, increases the squad's rate of fire, allows the squad to deal with suppression damage, which is pretty good. So it allows them to, like, you know, if the no nades are being thrown at them, this allows them to win fights other ways they probably wouldn't win, maybe. Sprint, you know, free ability that allows them to get past machine guns or whatever, or get them out of cover or dodge grenades if they need to. And then they get bars and get second bar as well. So Riflemen, like, I would also probably say S tier because they scale well. They're good all the time. Yeah, Riflemen. Yeah, they're great mainline. And then last unit is SSF Commandos. Now, what do we think about SSF Commandos? I kind of like them, but they are expensive. They're 440. They're more expensive than Rangers. Right. They're not S tier. 100% not S tier. They're super expensive. Let's lose a man here real quick. They're 220 manpower to 22 manpower to reinforce. So it's cheaper than Rangers, actually. So that, you know, once they're on the field, they actually scale okay because they're cheaper to reinforce. But they're one of the only units in the game that can swap their weapons over. So they can have their their Johnson rifle, the machine guns, and then they can swap over and get Zooks out. So at any one time they can swap over. There's a little bit of a delay between them swapping over, but that is such a nice thing for them to have. So you can have them swap over to whatever scenario that they're in whenever you want, which is pretty good. Their veterancy ability.
That's a promotion, man.
I have the knife throw, which is kind of a meme, to be honest. I've not really ever seen this. It's got a really bad range of it, and I've never seen I've literally never seen anybody pull off a knife throw on a retreating one-man squad to kill it. So it's like very hard to do, and they haven't got like a sprint unless you pair it with the captain, give them sprints so they can run in and maybe get the knife throw in to wipe that squad. That could be potential, but yeah, not that great. They do have a Willy Pete grenade, which is kind of like like White Phosphorus grenade, so I guess good against machine gun or support weapon or deny cover kind of thing, which is okay. And then let's get one more out real quick, and then the other one is a hidden demolition charge. 75 munitions. Probably okay, not amazing, not great. Okay, I think they're definitely not S tier because they cost so much to call in. They're probably one of the most expensive units to call in. But they have some decent utility since they can swap, you know, they're good in all different scenarios. So they can swap weapons around and have full firepower on whatever they want. I think, people are saying E and F tier for them? Really? That bad? Highest per performance. Because they cost so much, you don't really have more than 2 of them. I don't know. I kind of like... they have no AT grenade. Panzer Grenadiers beat them in a 1v1 fight. Let's have a little go here. Let's see how Panzer Grenadiers do against them. And these guys are Vet 1. So I would assume the SSF Commandos would win this fight.
pumping, Schützen. Bastards are trying to kill us! I'm fine! Just keep fighting! Try to hit us! Just try it! He's dead!
Command points are available.
Leave him! Schützen! Concentrate fire!
SFF still win that. But it's still kind of close.
Victory at the front.
But yeah, they do cost a lot more.
The enemy have taken.
So Panzer Grenadiers are 1 manpower model cheaper to reinforce than SF Command. Maybe that's only if SF Commandos have gotten the advanced logistics upgrade.
Yes, sir.
They do have the grenade, but yeah, you got to spend that grenade out there. Thing is, though, you're not going to be pushing SFF into close quarters combat against Panzer Grenadiers. You just wouldn't do that in an engagement. But yeah, okay. So I think SFF, they're okay, but they're not they're good, but not they're not the best. I think they'd be the B or A tier for me personally. It's I think it's because their initial cost. Because they're so expensive, I'm going to put them B tier. I think they're pretty decent. And they got, you know, the fact that they can swap their weapons around is very nice. And again, you're not spending any munitions to upgrade Zooks or anything like that, which again, you've got to account for that. But yeah, all right, that's it, boys. That's my tier list done. What do we think? I think overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I think having a little glance through all the other units there, I think that's pretty decent. S tier. 2 British units are S tier, so the sappers and the infantry section. Yep, that's fine. There's nothing really else there. The DAK Gustatory at 88. Yeah, I'm pretty dink. Yeah, so Wehrmacht, I think that's all fine. Yeah, I like all those units there. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with all that. So guys, there you have it. That is my infantry and support weapon tier list for Company Heroes 3. Do you agree? And if you do, let me know in the comments. Maybe you disagree as well. Also let me know in the comments. And if you want to make your own tier list, I'll pop a link in the description or the comment section so you can make your own tier list with all these unit cards as well. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.